Sanibonani, Maritzburg Power Podcast viewers. It's your girl Ubalungile Mkhize, and today's topic touches everyone and everything. We're talking education. Education is one of the key points of shaping careers in our lives, even our lifestyle. But then today I have experts in their fields who's going to explain it more better than I do. So today ngihamba noSisi Mbeje, Utanda Mbeje, the author of At Gunpoint, who's a former educator, one adverse educator, as well as Dr. Makanya from EBMF. As you know, EBMF is part of Ilokunjana Career Institution, graduates, postgraduate institution, which assists in Ilokunjana in the working place, in the working environment. Basiza kakhulu, I don't want to lie, it's Black Management Forum. So if you are not part of that, I'm not sure which part of forum you are in. So the next one is our librarian, which is our key point as Ilokunjana, as the education sector. Usanele, I'm sorry. Hey, sorry, okay, Usanele. Usanele urana Ilokunjana. He's actually a librarian at Ashdown. Ashdown is one of the places within Maritzburg, as we highlight and discover Maritzburg and surroundings. So librarians are a key point where even the retired ones, if you want to catch up on some reading, if you don't have access to incwadi okwazi ukuyithenga, iyasiza kakhulu umphakathi ama-libraries in terms of the young people of our Lokunjana, of our country, of our society. Cela ukuthi nijwayele i-library, bantu bakwethu. I-library nje ibomngani wakho. Incwadi zivula umqondo, widely so. And lastly, we have Untokozo Mzungu from Menkosa. So Menkosa decided to give us some gift bags today. We're really surprised. So in those big gift bags, Sinama diary for the year, and then I'm rulers, So it's quite and marketing materials, as well as a cup. For me, that's my cup. So my cup of coffee is in winters, so I'll be sorted. Thank you, Menkosa. So, Siqaleke. Education system, starting from an early childhood. Before I go there, I'd like to apologize for the MEC's office. The MEC couldn't make it. He's currently in Johannesburg. So for Umsebenzi, and then we couldn't find anyone available due to January, and the office is particularly very busy at this point of time. Bayaxolisile ukuthi abakwazi ukuthi baphumelele. Kodwa ke moving forward, njengabe sikhuluma ukuthi education is very diverse. Kodwa mangabuthi sifuna ukuthi silungise kahle, we need it to be from ground root levels. Umuntu has much expertise and much experience in that. It's our former educator, Utithu Mbeje, abamaziyo. Ungasitshela ukuthini, ungasitshelani nge-early childhood development?
Okay, ngizocela ukubingelela abalaleli emakhaya ngibingelelo zakithi esinabo la etafuleni. Ngisewuye uthisha Nkosi yami.
Yeah.
Yes, and from my experience, I've been a teacher for 17 years and a principal of school for 7 years. And when I was a teacher, I was in high school teaching ama-teenagers, and when I started to be a principal ngase ngiya e-primary, that's when I realized ukuthi uma singayibhekele kakhulu early-childhood development bayalimala abantwana uma sebelaphaya phezulu. But-ke in my side as uThandambeje, representing uThandambeje Foundation esebenza kakhulu nabantwana besilisa or nabantu besilisa to be specific. 2021 abantu besilisa bakhona benze kahle kakhulu, but sitholile ukuthi abantu besilisa i-performance yabo iyadropa unyaka nonyaka ishona phansi. Kodwa-ke singakaqhubeki kakhulu ngisangasho ukuthi kuningi kusamele sikwenze ukuconcentrate kakhulu ukuthi abantu besilisa sibasiza kanjani bese bancane, singalindi bese badala, singalindi baze babe usikhotheni sebebadala, but yini le kumele siyenze lapha na foundation phase ukwenza labantwana bakwazi ukuthanda ukufunda. Ngiyajabula ngoba sine librarian la osolo kusiyikole eziningi from disadvantaged communities, into library into engazi ziyibona ukufunda zigcina phambi kwathisha ngoba even siziye emakhaya they don't even have tables ukuthi bahlale kanje bafunde, nabazali babo nabo bakwazi nokuba assess or nokubabonisa ukuthi mawufunda uhlala kanje wenza kanje wenza kanje. Mhlambe egcineni ubhuti uyi-librarian uzokwazi ukusisiza ukuthi yes we don't have libraries, but as families, as communities, what can we do to assist abantwana bese bancane?
Yes, okay. And ulokunjana Dr. Makhanya, say dealing in a foundation phase. So now, I'm done studying, and where do I go to? In studying my career, where do I go to? Who do I approach? And what's the process in shaping my career after studying my 4-year degree?
Thanks, Isi, and thanks for an invite, by the way. I think if one looks at the formal education system, which I'll say starts, my sisters highlighted from early childhood, but I'll talk about the primary schooling system, high school and tertiary. I think it's quite important that we start emphasizing from as early as in the primary that a learner must start formulating his or her vision in terms of what or where they want to be in future, and start streamlining their aspirations with the subjects or the curriculum that will enable them to get to that space when they get basically to post, I'll say, a tertiary. I'm saying that because when you start introducing that aspect as early as in the primary into high school, one is passionate when they go to tertiary and into the ultimate profession that they want to end up at and contributing basically to the growth of our economy. So I would say when one has introduced them to that aspect in terms of their vision, if you have introduced the courses that they may pursue given that vision post tertiary, so half the battle is won. So you get to a place now where people are not jumping up and down changing courses when they get to the tertiary. You've done sciences through high school, then you get to the tertiary, then you start changing to something else which is not in line with your vision. Had you had that vision earlier on, so you'll be prepared throughout your whole education system, formal education system, until we get to the point where you graduate. Now, here's the thing, having said that, from my experience with what I've seen, those when you graduate, now you're ready to come to the work environment. The formal education system is good in terms of preparing you for the career. But when you get to the workplace, the dynamics are different. You get to the place where I've got my degree, I'm an accountant, I'm an engineer, I get to that space, the workplace dynamics, be it politics or whatever, this education system of formal did not prepare me for those. So the point I'm driving to is, it's quite important to balance the informal education system as well, which will prepare you better to some of these leadership I'll say competences that one needs to survive in the workplace, even as a highly qualified engineer or whatever incumbency you'll be in. So I would say my take would be we have to start emphasizing the role of vision and understanding the child's needs earlier, and the time has come that we start even introducing mentoring and coaching programs as early as primary high school, so that we can enhance those skills earlier, and when they get to the workplace, they are better prepared, I think, in terms of the leadership survival. Yeah. So that's my take. That's what my take is so far. So that they make good professionals.
Definitely. Sanele, ama-library ayashoda njenga Ms. Mbeje has mentioned. Ayashoda. Yini ama-challenges enza ukuthi ama-library ashode within our communities in grooming these young people in terms of bettering their reading skills and so forth?
Well, in the news first grade ababukeli emakhaya, and also let me congratulate the matric of 2021, even though we have come along due to the issues of corona, but they were able to survive such a hurricane. Well, in regard to your question, it is a fact that in our country we have a crisis of shortage of libraries. When one may first actually understand the content of the history of our country, because we came way back from the apartheid era to the current era. So we know that as much as we are in short of libraries, but not every place is, because due to the past operation. But where we actually face such challenges, it's black communities mostly, because you find that in a community, or let me say, in a community or in a ward, as a whole, there is not a single library, the entire ward, there is not a single library. So then you found that mostly when you go to places like rural areas, you found that there is not even a smell of a library within that area. So we must first acknowledge our past history that has actually resulted in a situation we are. So in that way, we say we are not actually romanticizing the government by saying that it may now chill down, because of the past injustice. But we are saying now that we are in a democratic era. So our government must ensure that this gap between the modern schools and then those of us must be bridged, because it's been many years. So furthermore, as librarian, we actually, even though let's say we have few libraries in our communities, but we actually try by all means, to try our best to reach every corner of the community. How so? So there is a program that's called community outreach. So by those programs, we're able to host events, to host programs in a manner that every year we have an annual planning of our community outreach in regard to Sunday that we have to be able, to develop them while they are still young, to prepare them, to yes.
Yeah.
So we have many programs, in regard, such, childhood.
Development.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because some of them, we actually host a program where they will compete in terms of spelling.
Oh wow.
Some, and then some speeches. So we invite most primary schools, to compete. So by doing that, we are actually encouraging them, to be friends with the library, because because once a child at an early stage, you actually condition her or him to be a friend with the library. That child is likely to be out of line when he grows up. Because he or she knows that a library is a source of information.
Of
So,
course.
yes.
Yeah.
So we normally say that libraries are actually your second home. You have your home, and then a library is your second home. Because that is where you actually get every sort of information.
I
You
see
know
both. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, he made a very crucial point, and I just want to add further to that. I read a report almost 18 months ago. It was about the dropout rate in terms of the high schools. And the report cited surge around grade 10, 11, where the dropout rate basically is higher. And percentages was roughly around 24%. It says from 12 to about 24% it dropped to matric. And they delved in by way of a survey to understand what were the causes. And one of the leading causes cited there was no understanding or information about what I'm going to do beyond matric. There were other cited like pregnancy, teenage pregnancy and all that. So that is important, because I'm thinking he is in that space where in the library we offer such information. So it would be interesting if one was to look throughout, especially in those areas where I think we are deprived, disadvantaged. So are we fully equipped with such information that I know where to go to when I need information in any particular field of interest for me when I'm in high school, even beyond high school. It was that, I remember a few years ago, almost 10, 11 years ago, I wrote, there's a handbook that I wrote on engineering, and it was published via Natal Witness Echo section. Precisely for that, because I happened to be up there at a place called Kwadindi, and having interacted with few guys from school during the day, guys, what's your plan? What's your vision? No, anyone about engineering? If you know anything about engineering, people didn't cite much about engineering, teaching, conventional courses, police, this, that. So that triggered me to just put together something, and I was glad that Witness agreed to publish it there, just by way of giving information, what engineering basically is all about. Yeah. So it just, I'm actually saying this by way of agreeing with him. If we can equip these institutions or these libraries with more information relevant to what is required out there by the business or even our economy as well. It's one thing to do this thing, and it's not consistent with what the country aspires to, as per our national development plan. So I agree with him fully.
Yeah, I see a partnership there. I see a partnership. Okay, our next speaker here is Mr. Zungu from Menkosa, Uput Madlisa. So Even COSA, what we find out, it's not really big in the space due to obviously with the public institutions that we are competing with. So now, how do you guys prepare yourself or put yourself out there to really be competitive with the rest of the education system?
Sure. I will try to explain as much as I can. Because it will be too much information.
No problem.
So bear with me
Yeah.
with that.
No.
Firstly, again, thank you so much for the opportunity and to the brains around us. And one is learning every day from everyone. So on a personal capacity, I just want to thank you so much for allowing to go in this space. I think when it comes to education, before I talk about Menkosa, it is very important for us, if I say us, I'm referring to everybody that is passionate about South Africa, to keep having this conversation. Because whatever that we think it is our solution, it might happen that in another world, in another area, within or out of Pietermaritzburg, it's irrelevant. So if we create this environment whereby we sit from time to time and have this conversation about education, I think that's when we can be able to change it. And I think Menkosa has been doing that for years, and this year we are celebrating Unyago, which was 26. But there's no way Nabinging Kuluma without supporting what he's saying. And Nati, we are concerned as an institution, as a business, and I think I can make it clear that we are a private institution that operate in a public environment. So that means it is our must, it is our responsibility to partner to create those private and public partnership that is aiming towards developing our education. So being a higher institution, it doesn't mean that our focus is on those that are preparing to pursue a higher education. We also have a mandate and a responsibility to go back to the primary level on the basic one to ensure that they are assisted as much as we can. And because we have a librarian here, and there is no way I cannot mention that we are running a project, a program, a campaign whereby we are sponsoring or donating books to private schools. We want to make sure that the child from as early as primary school, a child is able to read with an understanding. It's one thing to read words, but you have to be able to understand it. So we've been doing this project. It started 3 years ago. This is our 3rd year, and it's growing. We're aiming to distribute millions of books. So that is our target. But saying that, being a higher institution, I think most of the people, they look at us to say we are a final stage in preparing someone to pursue a working environment. And I like what our gentleman here indicated, that maybe what you've learned throughout your schooling career, this is what is happening in the world. It can be different. So we have those experiences. We have people coming forward to say, this is what is happening. So in preparation for the career, our institution, they have one. We have people who are called student advisor. So for someone that's just finished matric right now, there is an opportunity for you to sit one-on-one with Wanda. With COVID, we're using all means of communication that are available, whereby you say, this is what I have, and this is the subject that I've done in high school, and what next. Looking at the subjects, understanding your obviously when we have this conversation, we are able to understand your capabilities, your strength, so we can easily filter in to say, maybe you can do 1, 2, 3 because it matches your personality. That one. Two, when we do this conversation, we want to understand what is your end goal. So let us say you have your matric now, you want to do a 4 years, 3 years degree with us. But what is it that you're aiming for? So that it's become easy for me as a student advisor to say, maybe if you can look at this 1, 2, 3, it can easily channel you to the program that you want to do. So we have those platforms, and we're doing a lot of support or initiative in partnership with the Department of Education. The library program that I'm talking about, we partner with them. And again, I will say this, I know you want to cut me, but I want to mention this. I want to mention this. now I'm talking as an institution that is operating within the sector. Most of the institution, I don't want to say all, but most of the institution that or the higher education level, they have the office, Yawa marketing, and within the department, there is a division, a student, either a student marketer or student recruiter. Those people, ideally, their job is to engage with the grade 12 from grade 9 until grade 12 in preparation for you, what you're going to choose in preparation to get to high school, to university.
And unfortunately, we are running super out of time. I'm sorry to cut this conversation.
Sure.
So now, since I was having a conversation, we are not done yet. It's just unfortunate that Kunjana yetu it's what I promised about my guest Ukuti, it's gonna be a 20 minutes interview. So now this conversation will continue. I'm still gonna invite them through, and I just want to keep up with the conversation as throughout the year. Please join us next time. This is Maritzburg Power Podcast viewers. Power Podcast. So join us as we discover in Maritzburg and surroundings. Thank you guys for joining us, and I don't want to keep you as long as you have.
We were just warming up. I think it's introduction.